Up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to the Arsenal versus Fulham preview. We've got the wonderful G Talks with me today. How are we doing, G?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. Can't complain. Always a pleasure to be on the stream with you. And obviously, looking ahead to, for me, what is a big game. I mean, it'd be great to continue what has been a positive start to the season. So, yeah, all blessed, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Look, I'll be glad when it's a week tomorrow. Transfer window's over. We can stop talking about it. It's starting to do my head in a little bit now. Big up to Moss that's already in the house, leaving Calgary soon, so we're going back to Saskatoon. Talking about transfers, we'll talk about those tomorrow, Moss. I promise. Is talk about the music. Look, I like the music now. I like the Flying High. I think that's quite nice. It's quite a nice tune. But yeah, we're here to talk about the Arsenal Fulham. Obviously, we had a very good press conference with Arteta today, who obviously gave us good news that Rob Holding is fit and available. No, but
I missed
couldn't help it. I missed
that part.
No, but Jesus is back and available. I don't think he'll pick him. I think he'll be mad to pick him, if I'm honest. But Arteta is mad, so it's possible. What do you think of the news that Jesus is back, though?
Mate, I tell you, like, I kind of can't even put it into words, man. I mean, we saw, like last season when he had his knee injury, how devastating that was for the team, for the fan base, in terms of him being unavailable. And as we were saying off air, I watched the documentary. Obviously he came back, back end of the season. It wasn't enough to get us over the line, but I watched the documentary, and the guy's an absolute beast. Like the amount of work rate and effort he put into getting fit to see out the end of that season was remarkable. And I mean, hearing and seeing that, he got another injury, it's like, oh, it's happened again. And I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how long he was going to be out for. Arteta is very cagey when it comes to like injuries and like, how long a player is going to be on the sidelines. And I don't blame him. I think he's, he does the whole poker face and he keeps his cards close to his chest, and I think he should. At the same time, I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised. That one, he was in full first team training. I think we found that out yesterday. I was gobsmacked. I thought, okay, maybe he would be on grass, but I wouldn't necessarily feel like he was going to be involved in the first team training session. And then for Arteta to sit there in the press conference today, which I watched back, and for him to say that he's available selection, I think it's just absolutely amazing news, because he just takes us to another level. He has his critics, sometimes, even myself and other Arsenal fans, that he's not the most clinical. Sometimes we'd probably prefer him to be in the box a little bit more than he is, but it's just what he does. It's his overall play, his link-up play, but just his aura, his leadership qualities. And just that people describe it as, he creates chaos, and he does. He must be an absolute nightmare to defend against, because you don't know where he's going to be. He'll pop up on the left, pop up on the right. He'll run at you. He's got quick feet. He's got everything. The only thing he doesn't have is he's not always clinical, which we forgive him for. But yeah, the news, I mean, yeah, I think you just have to look at the timeline. You saw Arsenal fans all over the world rejoicing at the fact, he's back, he's training. and he's ready to be selected. Like you, I don't think he will go straight into the first team. Just based on the fact that we need to get him match fit at this stage. And in terms of like how we've played offensively in the last 2 games, I think we've done pretty well. I think Eddie, albeit some of the chances he's not tucked away, but generally I think he's played okay. And I'm not Eddie's biggest fan, but just amazing that he's back, man. To be honest,
it is. Sorry. Tony Fulbrook's got some funny comments and I was trying not to giggle whilst I was reading them coming up. Big up to Tony, saying evening to Bobby and G Talk and all. Just ahead of schedule, like I said. So look, Jesus is, like I said to G before we went on air, he's an animal. He's one of those, he's a very excited kid. And the thing with Jesus, you need to pull him back a little bit. And I'm sure he will say, I want to start tomorrow. But you do have to control him a little bit because it could just be another problem again. We don't want to do that, especially when we've got a certain other team the following weekend. And to be honest, I'd rather him play against them
100%. 100%.
Because we have to beat those in the situation that they're in. If we lose to them,
I can't think about it,
Cool.
I can't think about it. I'm not going into that game overly confident because at the end of the day, what I've learned is that United save their best performance of the season to play us. And what they tend to do when they play us is they concede possession, they sit back, and they just hope Rashi gets us on the break. And he often does. Yeah. So obviously I'm confident, but I'm not being very vocal about it at the moment. We just need to turn up, do the business, then we can talk as loud as we want.
Yeah, exactly. Big up to my brother. Hope you're doing well, Brenny. I've heard Chelsea have offered 100 million for Holding. I also heard Tinkerbell is marrying Peter Pan. Sorry, I was trying not to laugh at. Jesus is class and brings our team up. He does, 100%. I love him. I absolutely love him to bits.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that we're not going to get a striker next summer because we can play Jesus and another striker together in the same team. So I'm not worried about that. It's an issue. Big up to James. Jesus plays max 20 minutes tomorrow, please. That's what I kind of agree with. Yeah. Max 20 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him
longer. Oh, yeah, it'd be lovely to see him, especially at home. Get the whole the home crowd pumping. Arsenal is missing Party in the midfield. Big up to, I'm going to just say Felix because the first part I'm going to not be able to pronounce at all. So big up to you. But Arsenal is missing Party in the midfield. I honestly believe we'll win our first 7 matches.
Fingers crossed.
It's doable. Yep. Being a sister channel to a United channel, and obviously I work with Colm, who is obviously a Man United fan as well. I really cannot deal with a defeat to United with how bad they're playing as well. I'm hiding. Big up to DJ Damos. Defo no more than 20 minutes. Yeah, 100% I agree. We can't risk it. I want him against United, not against Fulham. The way that Fulham have been playing, they're easily beaten tomorrow for me. Right, let's talk about the injuries. So I have taken Jesus off now due to the fact he is back, and obviously Timber's out long term, Al Nenny's out long term, and for Fulham it is just Willian. But for some reason I've decided to leave everyone else's name up there. No idea why. Obviously I need to spend a little bit more time doing my work, but there we go. So yeah, it's not too bad. And obviously suspension wise, obviously Tommy's out for a game. And Ream is out as well. I don't know how long his suspension, but I'm not a Fulham fan, so I don't really care. But he's not playing either. I thought Cole was no. Cole is. Don't upset him. Thankfully, Cole is in. I think he's in Cornwall, so he's not going to read this because that would really upset him. He's a United fan. Jeez, that would really upset him. But guys, as always, I have my 5 to watch, and this one was not easy. I have to be honest.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you.
So I've started with Paulina. I think he's absolutely incredible. He's 28 now, though, so he's not someone I'd actually want at the club, but I think he's absolutely incredible. Calvin Bassey, absolutely love him. Nothing to do with the fact that he came from Ajax or playing for Rangers. Honestly, I can take my unbiased hat off for that player. But no, he is actually a really good centre-back, and I think they've made a good signing. Obviously, these appearances are last years, so I've looked up their previous season and how they performed. So obviously Bassey was at Ajax. Obviously Anthony Robinson. Yes, I always pick a fullback, but a fullback allegiance. Anthony Robinson for me is absolutely incredible. You can kind of see now why Bayern Munich were actually after him because he is very talented. Let's be honest. Andreas Pereira. To be honest, at Fulham, he looks really good.
Good player.
He looked awful at United, but at Fulham, he's just flourished, which I absolutely love. And unsurprisingly, because it's our ex-goalkeeper Bernd Leno, look, he could have a great game against us. It happens. It's our ex-goalkeepers. Leno is going to beat the Emirates. Ramsdale will probably be the opposite end, who he got sold for. You never know; it could happen. But yeah, it's one of those though. I'm dreading tomorrow's game a little bit because I kind of want us to go for the jugular, which is what I wanted against Palace, and obviously the Tomiyasu fiasco, and it is a fiasco. That's no way. None of those were even yellow cards in my opinion.
It's a joke.
But look, it is what it is. Let's go before we get into. Yeah, I know the game's on in a bit. Trying to get this done for that. American Green out. Robinson is quality. Yeah, Paula already back. Yeah, Paulina's back. He's always good. Andreas is good, says Moss. I know. Yeah, they're my 5 to watch. So obviously I've asked everyone to do their lineups. Interesting ones. I have to be honest, interesting ones. Nothing that's going to worry G. There is no youth players in here.
Okay.
But there is 10 lineups. So we've got quite a lot to do. So let's get into it.
Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up.
And unsurprisingly, we are going to start with yours first, G. So you went for Ramsdale, White-Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Eddie and Katia. Explain yourself.
Yeah, going into this game, I'm feeling really confident. If I'm completely honest, we're at home. I think we've played pretty well. I don't think we're at our flowing best, but I think what I want from this game is dominance from start to finish, which is what we haven't had in both the first 2 games. First game, Nottingham Forest, I think it was our own fault. Took our foot off the gas. They came back into it. Second game against Palace, it's none of our doing whatsoever. The sending off changed the whole complexity of the match. But the fact that we held on, that 3 points felt like 6. Yeah. In terms of this game, I'm going to go with what I feel, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is our strongest lineup. I'm sticking with Ramsdale. I'm really glad that at this point, Mikel Arteta is sticking with Ramsdale as well. For me, he's our number 1. Raya has to be patient. He has to wait for his opportunity. And when he gets his opportunity, he needs to show us why, he's capable of knocking Ramsdale off that number 1 spot. So for me, Ramsdale hasn't done anything, and I haven't seen anything from Raya in an Arsenal shirt to suggest anything other than Ramsdale being number 1. The back 4 for me, Ben White picks himself at right back. I'd like to see him back at right back. I know he has been a little bit different. He's played at centre back and stuff, but he was arguably the best Premier League right back last season. Depends who you talk to. So I'd like to see him there. Not a massive fan of Partey at right back. I understand the logic behind it without having Zinni in the left playing inverted. I understand it, but the fact that Zinni is in full training, he's been in full training. He got some minutes against Palace. I'd have Ben White at right, Zinni at left, and I'd bring back Gabriel. Gabriel's not played in the last 2 games, and dare I say it, I wouldn't necessarily say we've missed him. Defensively, I think we've been pretty good. But Gabriel is a favourite of mine. I really hope there is nothing in the Saudi move, but I'm very much aware that Arsenal is a business. And if we do get an offer we can't refuse, it may not happen. But for me, I'd like it not to happen. I absolutely love Gabriel. So I'm sticking him in to partner the Rolls Royce that is Saliba. That tackle against Palace, wow. So yeah, that's my back 4. In midfield, I'm going to go with Rice at the base of the midfield, very similar to our last game against Palace. Me personally, I think he's best at number 6 for me. I know he can play the number 8 role, but I just think, you know, protection for that back four, you know, dictating the play, you know, the passing ability, keeping things ticking over. It's just, I just see that as his best position. So I'm sticking him in at 6. Odegaard explains itself, playmaker at 10. And obviously I'm sticking with Havertz in the number 8. I've seen really positive signs as an Arsenal fan with regards to Havertz, but for some reason, it just doesn't seem to translate to the rest of the fan base. And I'd like to just see him there week in, week out, so that cohesion and relationships and stuff like that just get better and better and better. He made an absolutely phenomenal pass through ball to Martinelli in the Palace game, which he probably should have taken first time and scored. So I'm going to keep him there. On the right-hand side, Starboy explains itself. Eddie, I think he's done very well in the last 2 games. I mean, I was critical of him. I really do feel like he should have scored both those chances. But the first one he made himself and he was quite unlucky. The second one, I literally lost the plot in my sitting room. I really, really did. Yeah. But again, he's getting in those really good positions. He looks sharp. He looks lively. He looks like he's really on it this season. I mean, he won us the penalty. You know, he's really, really sharp. I mean, out of all our offensive players so far that have played across the front three, based on kind of energy levels and sharpness, he looks the best. To a certain extent. So I don't think he warrants being dropped, even though Jesus is back and ready. And then something that might be a little bit controversial for some Arsenal fans, I've dropped Martinelli, not because I don't think Martinelli's played well this season, but I just think Trossard needs minutes. We've had two Premier League games now. We've got 6 points on the board, and he hasn't played. And he had a phenomenal preseason. He was instrumental in the win over City in the Charity Shield. And like I said, he even bagged twice in the behind closed doors friendly that we had. So I'd like to see him. You know, we've got a squad now where we can rotate. So let's rotate. I mean, we're at home to Fulham. You know, we can put Martinelli on the bench and afford to play Trossard. You know, that for me, there's not a drop off between those two players. Some people will say Trossard's better. Some people will say Martinelli's better. Depends on who you talk to and how they're playing on their day. And I really do genuinely feel like he deserves some minutes going into the 3rd game of the season. Obviously, things will get a little bit more easier to rotate once Champions League and stuff kicks off. But that's my lineup, and those are the reasons why.
No worries, mate. I'm going to get in some comments before. I've already done your rating because I guarantee you've put a 10.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. There you go. I think Fulham are putting their numbers on the front of their shirts tomorrow as they will be going backwards all match. Look, Fulham have had not a great start to their season. And I hope it continues tomorrow. I do like Fulham as a club, but I kind of hope it continues tomorrow. Leno, let's rock him. Body him up, says Moss. Challenge, yes, the challenge will happen. Mitro, no, he doesn't count.
Oh, he's gone now, isn't he?
Sold. Tony, now I've just checked all the 10 lineups that I've got. I actually don't have this one, so I'm going to let G have a quick look at this one and give it a quick rating whilst Tony's listening. We'll get into the other ones. So basically, he's gone for Ramsdale, White, Kivior, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Odegaard, Havertz, Martinelli, Nketiah, and Saka. So what would you give Tony's lineup? Okay,
so he's gone Ramsdale, he's gone back 4, White, Kivior, Saliba, Gabriel. Who in midfield? Rice, Odegaard,
Havertz.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his boy.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify. No worries. Right. So, I mean, he's picked the same midfield as me. In terms of front line, he's gone with Martinelli over Trossard, and then he's gone with Kivior over Zinni. So, I mean, it's a good lineup. I much prefer Zinni in there over Kivior, but I completely understand why he'd pick Kivior because, I mean, Zinni got some minutes, but is he fit enough to start a game at Fulham? I don't know. I don't see him train, so it is what it is. And like I say, with Martinelli over Trossard, for me, that's a like for like. The only reason why I've gone with Trossard is because Martinelli started the last 2. So the only real change for me is the Kivior and Zinni one. So for that reason, I'll give it a 9 because it's only one difference really. For me, Martinelli and Trossard, it's not even a difference. It's just a preference that Martinelli's played 2 games and Trossard's had no minutes. So it's the Kivior one for me. So other than the Kivior thing, it's a very strong lineup. I give it a 9.
There you go. Well done, Tone. Also, big up to Nicholas that also chose G Talk's lineup as well. I have to say, big up to him as well. Yes, Moss, we'll get onto yours next. I believe yours is the next formation. Yep, chosen by James, Moss, and King. They've literally just swapped Martinelli for Trossard. So what we've given that
9.
as a rating?
9, easy.
Why not a 10?
Just because it's not mine.
I love that. Because it's not mine.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say that's so funny.
It deserves, to be fair, it deserves a 10. It does. It does. Because like I said, Martinelli, you know what? Give it a 10. Give it a 10. I'm feeling generous today. I'm feeling generous. But that's the reason why. I'm going to be real.
Oh, dear me. Right, let's move on to the next
Sorry,
one.
James Moss and the other person. Sorry.
Big up to Tim, Zayna, and Brenny K and Josh that chose this lineup. They went for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard as the number 9. So, what do you want to rate this one?
Yeah, so this one, again, they've gone for the same goalkeeper, same back four as me, same front line. Oh no, actually, they've taken Eddie out, haven't they? See, for me, I just feel like in the middle we're a little bit too defensive. Yeah. I don't think in a game like this we need to play both Partey and Rice. I think we could play either Partey or either Rice. I just think we might lose a little bit if we play the two of them together. And I think it's harsh dropping Eddie. I really do, based on how he's played in the last 2 games. As much as he's annoyed me, I do think it would be quite harsh to drop him. But I do want to pick Trossard. So, I mean, for that, it's a tough one, man. I just think it's a bit too defensive for a home game against Fulham. So, I'm going to give it an 8.
All right, no worries. Tony has heard your rating. Mine's at least 9.5, G. I'm not sure you're going to win.
It's all good, Tony. It's all good.
But you said Bobby's Martinelli Tross equal, and that's the only change. Well, as I said, I have managed to put Shuey up to a 10.
Yeah.
It's not Bobby's Martinelli, just so you know.
10 is fair. 10 is fair, Moss. 10 is fair.
Let's move on to the next team. Chosen by Tony, Luke, and Kanevi. They've gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie. I'm going to guess you're going to go for a 9 on this one, but we'll see.
You know what? No, again, for me, you know what? I like the front line. I don't like the fact that we're going for both Partey and Rice in the middle. I mean, it's a strong lineup. I just think at home, you know what I mean? We bought Havertz. Yeah. The £65 million signing, we've bought him. He's not coming and, you know, dragging up trees in terms of his performances. But I think if we want that to happen, we've got to play him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, at home to Fulham, you know, that for me, it's like a perfect game. I think there are going to be many occasions where we will and should play both Partey and Rice this season. Yeah. But I just don't think Fulham at home is one of them. So again, for that reason, it's a tough one. It's between an 8 and a 9, so I'm not too sure. Maybe 8 is a little bit harsh, given that it's exactly my team, other than the midfield change. It's only one player that's different and positionally slightly different. But I'm gonna be harsh at you. I'm gonna give it an 8.
To be honest, I'm gonna agree with you because that is more defensive than
yours. It is.
So that is quite a big change, even though it's only a couple of players. It's more defensive than
it is.
And because we're at home, you know, and King's in here now. King is the other one that chose with Moss. Saying that I agree. I don't need Partey and Rice in this game.
I think we're going to have games when against the likes of City, you know, or maybe away to Chelsea, or even like the North London derby and stuff like that away from home. I think there are going to be trips away from home where it would make a lot of sense to start both Partey and Rice, but I honestly just don't think we should be doing it at home to what I believe a team that's not going to finish in the top 8 or 10 in the Premier League.
Correct. Tony saying I only put Kivior in because I can't spell Zinni. Fair enough. Fair enough, to be fair, because Zinchenko can be quite hard to spell, if for all honesty. This is what I originally had. It's Luke's, right? It's Luke's, Tony's, and Kanibi. Yes, the three people that chose this one. We're going to go on to Gumza, and it's literally just Gumza that's gone for this one. He's gone with Ramsdale, Partey at right back again, Wyatt, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie. I don't like this. I hate. No,
I don't like this at all.
The thing is, I've had to draw it up. How many times have I done?
Gabriel at left back.
4 times. Well, it's because of the way that the formation would go.
Yeah, like Partey goes in and then they drop.
So I've had to put someone at left back. I know. Yeah. Well, I know what he means, but yeah.
Yeah. I've got to admit, like, I rate Gumza. I rate Gumza, but yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all.
No,
I just think
sick.
I just think we have the players. Like, even though we are, we've lost Timber, Tierney's gone out on loan, Tavares is probably out the door, Tommy's suspended. For me, we still have Ben White, who played right back all season last season.
Yeah,
we have four fit centre backs in the shape of Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, and Holding, and we have Zinchenko, who got some minutes against Palace. So for me, bar being forced to play this back four, that's the only way I would play it, is if I was forced to play this back four. And I don't think we're in a position to have to play this back four. The midfield, I can't argue with. That's the midfield I chose. And to be fair, Martinelli, like, for me, is a like for Trossard. But based on that back four, I'm going to be harsh and give it 7. I wanted to give it a 6, to be honest. I just don't like the back four at all.
No, I didn't like it. I hated it. I hated it. Look, I loved the fact that everyone does their own thing, but I was like, this one makes me feel sick, actually.
I don't like it.
No, I didn't like that one. Let's move
on.
Gumza. Sorry, Gumza. This was chosen by Albert, Karen, and Jack. They have gone for Raya in goal. White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka.
Yeah, you know what? The back four. I mean, this is actually quite a difficult one, because I don't like the fact that Raya's in there, which is what I've said on the previous preview. I just think Raya has to earn his spot. I personally feel like, unless you're signing an Mbappe, or like, and even there, man, it's just, I don't like this concept or theory that a player can be bought and just walk into the lineup. Yeah. And I genuinely don't see what Ramsdale's done wrong in order to lose his spot. Like, when Ramsdale came to this club, like, he earned his number one.
Yeah. Like,
he earned the number one spot. And I think it would be horrendous for his morale, and even just horrendous for the presidents, for the team, if a player just comes in and then just replaces, like, your previous number one. Like, and it's nothing against Raya, because if you actually gave me a choice between the two players and both of them weren't playing at Arsenal, I probably would sign Raya over Ramsdale. Yeah. But that's not the situation we're in. Ramsdale is our number one. He's been our number one since he came to the club, and he dislodged Leno. So for that reason, I don't like the fact that Ray is in at the goal. I think the midfield is too defensive, and I think it's extremely unfair to not only drop Eddie, obviously, if you're going to change the forward lineup, you've not picked Trossard, but then you've gone and dropped Eddie. I understand the logic of having Havertz in there. He's a little bit bigger. He gives us another option, but again, we're at home. For me, this team is just a little bit too disjointed for me. And this team, I'm going to give a 6.
Okay, no worries. Tony's saying here, Ray is not number one.
Yeah, it's
100%. Yeah,
yeah, man. Ramsdale's our number one, people, man. Come on, man. Like, beginning of last season, first half of last season in our title challenge, Ramsdale was arguably our best player. Like, literally, like, people were watching games and watching Match of the Day, and doing comps and clips and saying, like, how has this guy kept a clean sheet? How has he kept this out? How has he kept that out? Defensive, we've actually got better. So he's actually not having to do as much as maybe, he ought to, but he's our number one, man. Like Ray is a top quality goalkeeper, and personally, long term, will he be the number one? Quite possibly. But right now, Ray has literally just joined the club, and we're into the third game of the season. He's got to bide his time, in my opinion. He's got to get his chance, and when he gets his chance, he's got to give us and Arteta a reason to not pick Ramsdale again. And until he does that, I just personally don't think it's fair. That's just my opinion.
No, that's fair enough, mate. People are trying to get Partey in the team. I honestly do think people are trying to get Partey in the team.
Yeah,
and to be honest, this is not my agenda because I don't want Partey at the club. I don't get it. I honestly do not get it. We've got a squad now.
Yeah.
People are droppable. There's a couple that aren't. Saliba's one of them. Odegaard probably is another one. Saka is another one. Other players are droppable for me. Even Declan Rice, if he doesn't suit a specific team.
But this is it, though. This is it, and we've got the options now, particularly in the midfield, where like game by game we can approach the games differently. Like obviously, we start this game and we see that if we're getting kind of overrun in that midfield, by all means, drag Havertz, pop Partey on at the number 6, move Declan Rice into the kind of Xhaka role from last season. But going into the game at home against Fulham, the start they've made compared to the start we've made, the players they've got to the players we've got to go offensively. Like for me, it's just too defensive.
No, totally agree. Big up to Geordie saying, yo, hope you're doing well. Everyone forgets last year. Oh, am I back? I'm back. Sorry, I thought I lost the connection there. Everyone lost. Last year we lost Saliba, so our defence changed 100%. Until Cups and Champions League, Raya keep proving it in training. 100%. And Rabi number one. If I was Arteta, me personally, I would wait until the third round of the Carabao Cup to play Raya. That's just
when would that be date wise?
October.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. I think that's fair, man.
Yeah, I do.
Genuinely, I think that's fair, particularly like in the goalkeeper department. I think that's fair. I honestly feel like if Ramsdale, unless Ramsdale has an absolute howler, I genuinely feel like in a match day squad, if Raya gets picked over him, I just don't know what kind of message that sends to the rest of the squad. And I for one am glad this is the way Arteta's approached it so far. I am. If he approaches it different, I'm not going to start blasting the guy on Twitter or anything like that. But as I said in the last show, when people were picking Raya after he'd signed and were like, yeah, he should start against Palace. And I was just like, wow, for me, that's crazy. Like when you think also like what goes into, having a goalkeeper and that relationship and communication with their defense, like Ramsdale's been there like for the entirety of last season. Like, yes, Raya has got amazing distribution. He's a really good goalkeeper. He's got the qualities to be our number one, but he hasn't played with them, man. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't played with them centre backs. So you can't just throw him in there and like expect him to just like have those relationships or communication be on point. So when you first put him in, you want to kind of put him in and just see how he goes rather than put him in. I just think it's rushed. Like if we're going to put him in against Fulham or any of these other games, I think your shout for Carabao Cup is a good shout.
Yeah. Geordie saying here, all the best for your weekend match, lads. Thank you very much, Geordie. Hope you obviously beat Liverpool as well because we were doing the watch along for that as well. But yeah, to be honest, I just want the Liverpool fans to be in more pain at the moment because I'm enjoying it. With Partey, our midfield loses pace. You're with a certain part of the Arsenal hierarchy that agrees with that. So I'm totally in agreement with you. Raya to start from Champions League. We will know the Champions League draw next Thursday.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
We will try and do a watch along of it for the draw. But yeah, depending on who we have for the first fixture, say if it was, I don't know, some pot 4 team, that's possibly a good shout as well. I don't think if we were to play, let's say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of teams that are in it that we could draw against. Milan or something like that. Yeah. I don't think he'd start against Milan.
No.
So, yeah. Did Arteta pick Raya or was it the goalkeeper coach? This is very much Inaki. Inaki wanted Raya. He wanted him before Ramsdale as well, and became available. And this time wasn't cheap last time. And obviously we went to Ramsdale, but Inaki, and this is what I said about Inaki, we have to be very careful of Inaki's choices because he also chose Runnison.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that.
But to be fair, I love Raya. I had never heard of Runnison before, and I watch a lot of football all over Europe. I've never heard of him. So if I hadn't heard of him, I was slightly worried about him. But yeah, Raya, I'm absolutely happy about that. Raya, big up to Bargav. Yep, do watch along for your Champions League draw. It would be amazing. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, to be fair.
It's been a while,
Champions League draw.
Champions League. Jeez.
I know we're in the draw, mate.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's good.
Just can't wait. Right, let's get on to the next team. Chosen by Miguel. He's gone for a little bit of a left field shot. Ramsdale, Partey, White, Saliba, Kivior, Rice, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie. Let's see what we make of this one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, Zinni's ready. He got minutes against Palace, so for me, I'm starting him. So that's a a bit of a strange one for me again. Partey, I understand it because I think if you're playing Kivior, then yeah, okay, I get it, but I'm not a massive fan of the back four selection based on the players we've got fit. Because again, it's almost like, Gabriel hasn't played in the last two games, so now what I've noticed is a lot of people are kind of picking lineups without him. Yeah, so I don't know. I've got to stick until I find out otherwise. Gabriel, I don't know what the stats are, but I know he featured heavily last season in terms of starts. Yeah. He was one of our main starters, so I don't really like the fact that we're getting a lot of lineups with him not included in it. We've got, is that ESR?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for ESR playing there, but I just generally can't see that happening anytime soon. I think there's more chance of Rice playing there with Partey at the base. I think there's more chance of Havertz playing there. I actually think right now there's more chance of Trossard coming in at left centre mid than ESR. Again, ESR had somewhat of an injury hit season last season. He's not a player I want us to move on. He's a player I want us to be patient with. I think people forget just how good he is or how good he was pre that injury. Yeah. Arguably our best player the campaign when he stayed fit. So I really can't see that happening. I'd love him to get some minutes, potentially, but not from a starting position. And the front three, I mean, makes pretty much sense. Having said that, I mean, I'm not going to be too, I don't know. For me, I can't give it higher than a 7, to be honest, because of he's gone for like 2 defenders that I wouldn't have gone for in the back 4. He's gone for ESR, which I think is a real curveball in terms of lineup. There's even an argument this could be a 6 based on that decision, because when you actually think about it, like, and I respect it, people do things differently, but when you actually deep it in terms of like, what we've seen so far in pre-season and the game so far. ESI is way down the pecking order in terms of, being match fit and in and around that squad. So I see him being on the bench. I see him potentially getting some minutes, but I don't see him starting a Premier League game for the foreseeable future, if I'm completely honest. So yeah, for that reason, I won't be too harsh, but I'll give it a 7.
All right, mate. Because that... Fabio and Smith Rowe, I'm slightly concerned that we're not going to give them enough minutes. Those are the 2 players that need minutes.
They do.
If they come in cold, they're going to have an awful game.
Yeah.
The fan base will then jump on their back very quickly. Fabio's more than ESR's, if I'm honest, though, because ESR is one of ours. But Tony gave it a 5.
Yeah. I mean, I know Tony thinks I'm being a bit too generous. I mean, It could have easily got a 6. Easily got a 6. Because the ESR thing for me is wild. Like to bring him in cold like that. I just can't. Yeah, I can't see that happening in a million years.
Bargo's saying, what should we expect from Adama and Fulham's new attack? It will be Jimenez and Adama. They didn't exactly link very well at Wolves. So
Adama's a good player. He's a dangerous player, but he's got no end product.
Exactly.
That's the problem with Adama. You know what I mean? He's dangerous. He's fast. He's strong, but very little finesse. He's got. I know people. I don't like to use the term, but he's not really got like a football IQ. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll dribble past like 5 man. You know, get to the edge of the penalty box and then just blast it like 20 yards over the bar. So that's just the type of player he is. So yeah, I don't. And I mean Jimenez. There was a time when I would have bit your right arm off to get him from Wolves. But unfortunately, since that injury, he's just not come back the same player.
Yeah.
However, I do hope he can resurrect his career at Fulham, just not tomorrow.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love Jimenez, but yeah, the injury has really knocked him back. Should be an easy win. We'll get into predictions in a bit. I think it should be. Whether or not it will be is another matter. Gee, you give them a 7, but give me a 9. ESR, says Zeno. Big up to Zeno. Zinni should start now. Some people think so, some people don't, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If you look at ESR, he is behind Trossard and Vieira. Yeah,
he is.
It's slightly concerning now. Will Paulina start? Yes, he will do. Well,
100%. Anyway. If they don't start him, they're crazy.
Mitro is available, but he's pretty much gone. He's like 99% out the door. So
he won't be part of their squad. He wasn't part of their squad in their last match.
No, so
he's off to Saudi.
Adama going to NFL, I heard. Well, that wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. Mitro officially gone. We're just waiting for the official announcement, but as far as I'm aware, he's in Saudi Arabia. So, Al Hilal scored him. Oh, has he already played for him?
He's played for them. Well, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that, to be fair.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know he actually played for him.
To be honest, I've not watched much Saudi League, to be fair.
No, I've been watching some of the Asian Champions League. That's actually quite entertaining. And Neymar scored, but yeah. Neymar, is enjoying life a bit too much over there, I think, by the looks of it. Adama is all hype and baby oil, no end product, never scored even 7 goals in the full season. Look, obviously being from Wolves, I know loads of fans love him, as in the personality, but football-wise, can't stand him. But he's a really nice guy. If, of course, Mitro an assassin, can't Mitro give Party a lift?
Oh, man.
Don't get me started on
Sorry, man.
Right, let's move on to the team chosen by Stuart, Carlos, Richard, and Ben. They've gone for Ramsdale Party at right back again. White, Saliba, Kivior, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie. And I know that we're like saying about Gabriel not being picked. I think it's because they think he might actually be leaving, which is obviously they're trying to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm starting to suss.
Yeah,
I'm starting to suss that people are beginning to come to terms with life, possibly without Gabriel in their lineups. I mean, the midfield is the midfield I pick, so fantastic. The front three is like for like because the only change is Martinelli for Trossard, and again, I don't really see a drop off between those two players. I think it's just a preference on the day who you're going to start. Yeah. So it's only really the fullbacks, where obviously my as I said, my preference would be White and Zinni, with Gabriel at the back. But again, as we've said, it seems as though people are kind of preparing for him moving to Saudi, which I really hope doesn't happen. But I have this sneaky feeling it might. So yeah, front line is fine, midfield is fine. I mean, Ben White and Saliba have done really well in that kind of centre back pairing. And believe it or not, as much as I don't like Partey there, I do think the fan base goes a bit crazy about how poor they think he is in that role. I think he actually does a pretty decent job. I think against certain players, certain opposition, I think he could really get punished. I don't think that would be the case tomorrow against Fulham. Yeah. Certain games, I would not want to see Partey there. The likes of Man City, Liverpool, I don't want to see Partey against a Diaz or a Grealish. I think he would get absolutely battered. But against Fulham, it is something we could do, but it's not something I would have gone for. But other than that, I mean, it's with the hindsight of maybe the reason why people are not picking Gabriel, it's not a terrible lineup. So I'll give it an 8.
Give it an 8. Okay.
Only because the midfield and the front three are like for mine.
Yeah. Right. Tony's saying here Gabriel isn't leaving. I'm not 100% sure on that. And if I say it's not 100% sure, then it's not 100% sure. I promise you that. Look, I know G mentioned it earlier about the Saudi teams, but it's not just the Saudi teams. There is a Spanish team as well that would put a bid in if they convince Gabriel. And the problem that Arsenal have got with Gabriel is he was signing a new contract in December. And I've said this before, that he's only been paid 100,000, which is nothing compared to what Lieber's getting. And obviously, Real Madrid come in knocking. Can you seriously turn down Real Madrid? Seriously?
Yeah. When you said about a Spanish side, I thought it was Madrid.
Yeah, because Militao's outfit with ACL.
I thought it was Madrid.
So, yeah. Gabriel can't leave now. Tierney has left. As I've said, if Tierney's left, if Gabriel is leaving, I trust the backup plan that Arsenal have. So I'm absolutely fine about it, if I'm honest. Even if it would make me sad because I do love Gabriel. I think he's an absolutely great guy. But I'm perfectly chill with what we've got back up, so I have no issues with it. G, you would be a better right back.
I doubt that.
Mars, I know you're taking part in the challenge. I have started. We'll come back to that in a bit. Swap Gabriel for Tchouaméni. Well, the problem is that would then cause Kanakagate. So not for me. If that's the way that Kanakagate happens, no. But no, look. Could I see that happening if Partey was to leave? Yes, I could see that happening. But the bid that we were expecting from Saudi Arabia never came in for Gabriel. Not for Gabriel, for Partey. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Why peeps here keep hinting Gabriel leaving when club says no? Anyone can say anything they want. Yep. I can guarantee you, regarding Mo Salah, Klopp has said that no bids come in. Absolute rubbish. There has been a bid, and Salah is talking. So Arteta can say anything.
I said to my Liverpool fans, like my Liverpool friends, like I said, look, you know what, like, because they're coming with this, he's not for sale, he wouldn't do this. I said, listen, do not count your chickens too soon. I mean, things happen, things can change so quickly in football. And at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? Like when he was previously linked to a Saudi team, his agent was very quick to come out and dismiss the rumors. Whereas that hasn't happened this time around. He's 31. Liverpool are, in the process of somewhat of a rebuild. They're not going to be challenging for the title. They're not in the Champions League. He's 31. He's got 2 years left on his deal. It's the Saudis. And when you look at the Liverpool ownership, if the Saudis slap £100 million on the table, they will take it. And Salah will go because Salah will get Neymar money if he goes to Saudi. So I'm I used to live in a fairy tale land or world where you believed what the coaches said what the club said, but money talks, and if the money's right, Liverpool will accept and Salah will go.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever Klopp has said, whatever Arteta said, look, they're not lying to you to be out of being mean or anything like that. It's just the club line. That's the correct way of doing it. Yep. Don't say, "Oh yeah, we're selling Gabriel." They know then that they will take a lower bid. They're like, "Well, okay, we're selling him then." All right,
exactly. And imagine the meltdown. Oh my gosh! Literally, I don't really pay too much attention to what Arteta says in these press conferences. Like other than like the injury updates. And just obviously supporting the club and wanting to hear what my manager has to say. Other than that, like when they ask him about like incomings and outgoings, he's not gonna give nothing away, is he? Come on. Like you see people all over Twitter today saying, "Oh, why have they not asked him about players coming to Arsenal?" I'm like, and even if they did, what do you expect? What do you think he's going to say? Oh yeah, you know what? We're going to sell Gabriel. Partey's in a taxi on the way to the airport right now, and you know what? We're going to sign 5 more players if we can.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Sorry, I love the fact that people just think whatever the manager says, that's gospel.
It's crazy, right?
No, it's not what gospel. And to be fair, I'll go as far as don't believe everything that certain Twitter people say. Because that's not always the case either. They just
trust me. My friend who's a Liverpool fan said, "Oh, look, Klopp came out and said he's not going, no, he's not for sale." I said, "Yeah, he's the same man that sat down in a press conference telling him that we signed Casado. That didn't end well." I was like, "Why are you listening to Klopp, bro?"
Yeah, look, this is the craziest transfer window, and I warned everyone that this will be the craziest transfer window you've seen in years, and it is, and it mainly down to the Saudis, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
but look, Real Madrid, they need a centre back. They need a very good centre back, and I'm not offended that they're looking at Gabriel at all.
No,
look at Gabriel because he's a brilliant centre back, but they're going to have to offer the money that will tempt Arsenal to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a good. What we've done brilliantly well is we've got all our big prime assets to extend.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We are in the driving seat, and that's the position you want to be in.
Yeah. But before we get on to Tony's comment there, how much would you sell Gabriel for happily?
For me, Gabriel has to go for minimum 80 mil.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're on the same page. I'm thinking 90, 100.
Minimum 80. I think if I saw a fee anything lower than 80 mil, I'd have questions.
Yeah, so
I'd have questions. But 80, I'd be satisfied with. Anything above that, 90 mil, 100 mil, mate. As much as I love Gabriel, like I say, we were talking before we came on air, I understand that Arsenal is a business.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a fan. Yes, I'm quite emotional and irrational when it comes to Arsenal because I love Arsenal. But I also understand that it is an organization and it is a business. And ultimately, every single player's got their price. And if we get an offer for a player, that is too good to refuse, club won't refuse it. It's that simple. So 80 million and above for Gabriel, I think is a fair price tag. But obviously, the more we get, the better. I mean, if we were going to sell him, I'd want 100 million, 100%.
Yeah.
But anything above 80, I'd be satisfied. Because I think we paid was it 25 mil for him?
Give me 2 secs. I'll tell you exactly how much.
I can't remember what it was, but I don't think it was
too much. Yeah,
I don't think it was massive. I think it was somewhere between 22 to 25 or something like that.
Yeah, just give me 2 secs. I've just got. Yeah. I have this system on my phone that tells me exactly how much we paid, which is always helpful. 23.2 million.
That's what I'm saying, man. 23.2 million. Like you get back 80, you're making over 50 odd mil.
Yeah,
in profit. But yeah, it would be nice if we could sell him, and then obviously if we were going to sell him, because again, I don't want to sell Gabriel. When it came up in our WhatsApp group, Bobby will tell you that I was not in favor of this happening whatsoever. I actually, my actual words were, if we sell him, I think I might lose my.
Yes,
that's literally, and I don't. And somebody even said, "But G, you're the sensible one. You don't lose your right."
That was Luke.
But that's how much I love Gabriel. So personally, I don't want it to happen. But at the end of the day, I don't have control over the club or Gabriel's wishes. So if he is sold, the thing I can hope the best for is to get as much money as possible.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Tony's saying, "Are you saying Romano doesn't speak the truth?" Not. I think he tells the truth that he knows, but it doesn't always end up the way that he's saying it does.
Yeah. There's been a few here we goes that haven't gone to plan this summer.
Exactly.
I've seen them.
Tony's saying 100 million. Yep. Don't they want party? Unfortunately, no one wants party. Look, the reason I say no one wants party, this is the perfect time to sell him. He's only going to lose value. I think there's DMs out there that we could quite happily get. And I think would actually improve this.
There's a deep pool of DMs at the moment. Yeah, it's one of those positions that if you're talking right wings, it's a little bit more trickier. There's not many right wingers, even centre forwards, but DM it just seems to be like a conveyor belt of defensive midfielders at the moment.
So I think we could quite easily get one that replaces Partey. For me, that's just me. Right, let's move on to Mehmet. He has gone for Ramsdale, Partey, White, Saliba, Kivior, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Eddie Nketiah. What are you going to go with that one?
Again, I got to give it the same what I gave the last lineup. I think did I give the last one a 7?
8.
Yeah, I've got to give them a 7. Same strike force, same midfield. It's just a Kivior and Partey at the fullback, so I'll give it a 7.
Yeah. Do we have Jorginho? Yeah, we do still have Jorginho. And no one's picking Jorginho, but I think he's actually very good, personally. And
he is,
to be honest, I can see where you're coming with this. Sell Partey, because we got Jorginho. We wouldn't even need a DM straight now.
No, we wouldn't.
We wouldn't. Wait. So yeah, I personally would sell Partey, get the money, spend it elsewhere on different position, and have Jorginho for the season. It makes sense to me. That's just me, but no one else seems to agree with this. But there we go. John has gone with Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Eddie.
Again, you know what I'm going to say. Don't like the rare thing.
Yeah.
Defensive in midfield. And again, I think it's harsh on Eddie to be dropped. So for those three reasons, I'm going to go with a 6.
No, fair enough, mate. Right. G knows what's coming up. He's preparing himself already for it.
I'm ready.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in there now. So please don't put your votes in yet. I'm just making sure the actual vote works this time. Yes, it does. Right. So you're going to be up against 3 Fulham people that have gone for their teams already. And you know what it is. And Moss has already put his team in, but he won't be part of the actual vote because there is already 4. But gee, it's time for the challenge, my friend. Okay, so for anyone that's new, we stick with the home formation. So luckily it is Arsenal's. Obviously, last week was a little bit difficult because it was the Crystal Palace formation. So we're back with Arsenal's formation, so that makes it a little bit easier. However, picking 5 from Fulham is not that easy, and I'm not no disrespect to Fulham. Their squad isn't the greatest, and to be fair, they're very lucky with where they finished last season, if I'm honest. But how do you want to do it, G? Do you want to start with the Fulham players first?
Yeah, let's go with Fulham first. I'm going to go straight in. Once a Gooner, always a Gooner with Leno in the number 1 spot.
All right, mate. Okay, there's Leno. Okay.
A player that I wasn't too familiar with, and the first time I ever saw him was in the Europa League playing for Rangers. And that's Calvin Bassey in the centre-back position. I think he's an absolute beast.
Isn't he? He's really good. Your third player?
It's got to be the midfield DM, which is Paulina.
Okay, your fourth player?
A little bit of a surprise for some, but I'm going to go with Pereira.
Okay, you're going for Pereira. Okay. Got to go down.
I think he's actually been very impressive at Fulham.
Yeah, I quite like him, to be fair. I spoke to Cole about it because it's quite. It amazes me that Man United let him go because he's actually got some.
Yeah,
anyway.
he's actually been playing really well. I looked at his stats in a Fulham shirt, and he's been really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, a bit of a curveball, probably people might think, but I loved him at Wolves. I'd love him to resurrect his career at Fulham, so I'm going to go for Jimenez. And I think in the players that I've got in and around him, I think he'll score bags of goals.
Okay, so we're going to go to right back. So I'm guessing it's Ben White.
Yep.
Okay, you can pick Zinni because obviously he's actually back. So is that your choice at left back?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zinni.
Okay. The last centre back, who are you giving that to?
Saliba.
Okay. Right, so we've got one midfield position to fill.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Havertz.
Okay. It's not that easy nowadays. I like that.
No, I'm going to go with Havertz.
So we're going to have Reece
Saka and Saka and Martinelli.
I'm going to trick one of you one day. Right. So this is G's team. You've got Jimenez in goal, in goal. It's because I've started the wrong way around. Let's go back. There we go. Leno in goal. White at right back. Saliba, Bassey, Zinchenko, Paulina, Pereira, Havertz, Saka, Martinelli, and Jimenez. It's good team up. Good team, to be fair. So that is G's. I'm going to keep that on there for a minute, but we are going to have to put up the 3 that have been chosen by the Fulham people. Right, so we're going to start with Tony K. And the reason I've had to put K there is because we've got so many Tonys that I have to separate them. So he has picked Raya in goal, Tete. And I didn't want to tell him at the time, but that was an automatic fail for me. As soon as you picked Tete, I was like, no, No, just no. Saliba, Bassi, Robinson, Paulina, Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Martinelli, and Jimenez. So you're not the only one that's gone with Jimenez.
Some good teams here.
Yeah, Shahid has gone with Raya, White, Saliba, Bassi, Robinson, Paulino, Harrison, Reed, Odegaard, Traore, jeez, Havertz and Trossard. I don't know what Shahid was doing that day, but seriously. Ramsdale for Amy has gone from, I don't know how you say it, Bamboo?
Yeah. Which one is that?
The one on the right, Amy's. She's gone from
Oh, yeah.
Saliba, Bassi, Robinson, Paulina, Piera, Vieira. Why do I keep saying Vieira? Piera, Rice, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. It is a tricky one. I have to be honest. Obviously, I'm not the one picking it, so it's down to the votes today. What are those three teams do you like?
It's a tough one, you know. I mean, I prefer the back four and goalkeeper. I would pick the middle team.
Yeah.
Midfield, I would probably pick the first team, Paulina, Odegaard, and Rice.
Yeah.
And then the front three, I would go with my front three. So on that basis, I mean, it's hard. I would probably pick the team with Tete in it, personally. Yeah. Because I think other than Tete, I think that's a really strong side, though.
Yeah.
Like, it is. Like, I mean, the front three, yeah. I mean, other than Tete, that's a really strong team, I've got to admit. Traore, nah.
Yeah.
I
can't believe some of it. It's just mad. But let's get back in.
It's a hard one.
It is tricky. I'm going to leave the teams up for a little bit longer.
It's tricky.
Get the votes in. Bobby, as usual, I agree. Sell party. Right, we're going back to the party comment. Yeah, I agree. How much would you be tempted Arsenal to sell Gabby? 100. Yeah, that's
80 to 100 mil.
Yeah, we'll be quite happy. G, did you give me 9.5? We don't do halves on this channel. Well, I don't anyway. So no, he wouldn't have done a 9.5. Can Rail afford to ping out 100 million?
They always do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do. They get a loan from the government every time.
To be fair, I think they could sell someone as well. So yeah, I'm sure they could afford it if they needed to. 352 for Tony. Bobby never counts Moss, even though I win, but Tony gets in, and some weird ones from other clubs are always loud. Well, these three people actually work for Fulham. So to be fair, I am going to include the people that actually work for Fulham, and obviously the guests. So, and I've only got, as you know, the vote is only 4 people. So I can't put 5. There's only 4 options. So unfortunately, I can never put anyone else in. So yeah, never Leno, you lose. Okay, fair enough. Moss is being harsh there. But yeah, good idea, Bassi. Bassi's a very good defender. No one likes Cordova Reed. That's Harrison Reed, not the Cordova Bobby Reed who plays on the wing. But yeah, to be fair, he's not very good. Moss combined 11. Ramsdale, Robinson, Bassi, Saliba, White, Rice, Paulina, Odegaard, Saka, Harry. Oh no, you lose because of Wilson and Jimenez. Those two. Honestly, if I'd be disappointed if we concede 2 tomorrow, because I'm not scared of that.
Yeah, no. I mean, if we don't get anything other than 3 points, it's going to be a bit of an L, in my opinion.
Yeah, because honestly, I think Fulham right now are so weak that we should go for the jugular, especially at home. I'd probably be a bit different if it was Craven Cottage, because obviously the fans and stuff. But yeah, we should absolutely demolish them. Tony loses. It's not our Tony. It's different Tony. So I'm going to protect this Tony and our Tony as well. But it's not that Tony. Fulham team, Bobby Moore. I was named after him, so I'm always going to be happy with that one. Cohen, Wilson, Rodney Marsh, George. I'd love to have done a retro one of Fulham versus and Arsenal. I'll have to get Brenny to do it sometime.
Yeah, Brenny.
The players from Fulham, like a couple of decades ago, my word, some of the players they had would be amazing to do a retro one. Yeah, I don't know how you say his name, but that guy is nice too. Mbambu, is it? I don't know how you say his name.
Must be in bamboo, yeah.
Babu, yeah, never
Something like that.
just go. Right. Let's see what everyone's gone for before we do the predictions. So I'm going to end the vote once it lets me, if I can actually find it. It looks like you've won now by the looks of it. I swear it's an Armoury.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's you. And Amy comes second, so big up to Amy. Shahid and Tony got no votes, bless you. So I'm going to have to work out a way that I'm going to not always get you the votes, because clearly it's an Armoury thing here. I might have to do it on full time.
I'm just a mini Arteta, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Andreas could play versus Brea will be playing probably tomorrow. How did that happen? No idea. I think it's because it's an Armoury thing. I voted G because he's the only Arsenal fan who participated. Yeah,
Love
but to
that.
be fair, and this is where I'm going wrong. But to be fair, I do get Fulham people that I speak to, and I get them to play along, and they love doing it, and they work hard on doing it. They spend a few hours doing it, to be fair. But yeah, I just want to see what other people think, and some of these
It's good.
challenges is going to be hard, because at some point we could play a team. Well, we're going to play the Carabao Cup. We could be playing against Doncaster Rovers. No offense to Cole if you're watching back, but Doncaster Rovers getting 5 of their players in our squad will be interesting. Tony's not bitter. Instead of Wilson and Cordova-Reid, he is a Bobby. What? Instead of Wilson. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Only 5 letters. Right. Okay. Right. We're going to go to predictions. G.
Yep.
What are you going with?
Yeah, man. I'm looking for a dominant display at home. Dominant from the first whistle to the end. Couple of goals, clean sheets. I'm going to go 3-0 home win.
Okay. I've literally gone exactly the same. I've already written mine down. So, guys, in the comments, please put your predictions in. I've just seen Moss's. He's just gone for a 2-0. I'd be disappointed with 2-0. I know it sounds harsh because it's 3 points. It's a clean sheet. But this Fulham was, they beaten 3-0 at home the other day? I can't remember their performance last time. But it wasn't great. It was at home. And they lost. Luke's saying 2-0 as well. I'd be disappointed with a 2-0. I don't know what. I know it sounds really selfish, but I kind of want more. I want loads more.
I'd like a convincing home win. I think a 3-0 or more would be good. I mean, we've had a squeaky bum 2-1. I mean, the 1-0 felt like that as well once we got the red card for Tomiyasu. So it'd be nice to just have a comfortable home win, get a few goals, get the goal difference up. So yeah, I think I'd be disappointed at 1-0. To be fair, I'll take a 2-0, but I think it'd be good for us to get a couple of goals if we can.
Yeah.
Clean sheet, though. I want a clean sheet.
Yeah, Tony's going with a 5-0 here. That would please me. I'll have to be honest, that would please me. Tony going with an interesting comment here. Bobby, I'm not an accountant. We buy 210 million, sell 80 million. Arteta takes 170 million off wages. Are the Kronkers really spending just a full? Yeah, they are. I know that without the Kronkes, we would never have got Rice over the line because of the way that that was structured. Without Josh stepping in and doing something that I don't want to talk about on stream, we would never have got Declan. Simple as that. So yeah, the Kronkes are spending, and they are spending, and then next summer, as I've said on a previous stream, we will be going back to self-sufficient. So we'll be running off what we bring in. But we're in such a good position with the age of our squad, the value of our squad as well, the players that we could sell if needed. I think we're in a good position now. We've got some great youngsters coming up that are going to be only valuable anyway. So I'm chill about it, but the Kronkes have spent money, I promise you that. But they are planning on going back to self-sufficient, which I totally get. Because, but there is a thing called FFP, and people forget this. And that if we were to spend, I think someone asked the other day, I think it was Damos in our group chat, said, are we going to spend the 100 million if we get the 100 million in? we can on FFP spend 85% of whatever we bring in. So to fall within FFP. And to be fair, we shouldn't really too much worry about FFP. Other clubs should be. There's certain clubs that are in the Premier League that should be worrying about that. Not us. We'll be fine. And the reason that we're selling what we're selling is not just because we need the money. It's because they're never going to play.
No, they're nowhere near the first team.
No.
They're surplus to requirements. It's that simple.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I was just looking at Fulham's results. Yeah, they beat a very poor Everton side 1-0. And they lost to Brentford 3-0.
Yeah, there you go.
At home.
Yeah, exactly. That's a concerning result for Britain.
Yeah.
And the 1-0 win against Everton.
Because that's the same Everton side that got battered by, who was it? Was it Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bad one. Right. G, thank you for coming on.
No
mate.
problem,
Where
man.
can people find you?
Yeah, no problem at all, man. It's always a pleasure to join you, Bobby, on these preview shows. But yeah, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Bigging up the chat, all your comments, all your questions, all your input. If you haven't already, please do like the stream. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have, then please do tell other Gooners about us and where they can find us. But for me, I do the vast majority of all my kind of communicating with other Gooners, interacting with other Gooners on Twitter. Handles on the screen, which is @GTalksArsenal. Give me a follow, pop me a DM. I'll follow you back, and then we can get interacting. So thank you.
Tony's not going to forget this by the looks of it. Thanks, Bobby and G, despite underscoring me. Right. We've got a busy weekend, to be fair. I will be back at 5 to 3 tomorrow because I've got this system that I can use where I can actually have the live score going for the Arsenal game and a video printer for all the games happening at 3 o'clock. So I'll be back tomorrow with Moss as well on the Across the Pond Sports Talk and the Armoury and Full Time Sports Network for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Then at 7, we will be doing Arsenal news with match reaction as well. We're going to quickly put that in. There might be a second one on the Sunday or something, but we're going to do a fresh match reaction tomorrow night at 7. And then on Sunday, I've got the Newcastle versus Liverpool game, which will be a very good game, to be fair. I think I said yesterday, because I did a preview yesterday, I've got a feeling it's going to be like a 3-3-4-3. I don't know why. I've just got that funny feeling. But yeah. But guys, thank you ever so much for tuning in. And I'll definitely see you very soon. But yeah, take care, everyone. And come on, you Gunners.